Welcome to Bible Stories with Antoninah. This journey is going to be exciting because I'm already excited about it. We will take a journey through the Bible, and as we do that, we are seeking to join the dots on how everything is held together and completed by the person Yeshua, or Jesus as we call him in the English language. I believe that it's going to be an exciting experience because the Bible is interesting. And our first stop today is Genesis chapter 1. So let's go to Genesis chapter 1, and the first verse that we find says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Now, in this first episode, we want to consider the first few words that are given for us. It says, "In the beginning." These few words are so important because in pondering about them, meditating about them, then you gain a certain perspective that we miss a lot in life. And there are many theories out there. And I'm sure you have come across so many other theories, scientific theories, theories by other religions that give certain explanations of where did life begin. Now, the Bible authoritatively begins by underscoring the idea that there was a beginning. So everything that we see, everything that we interact with didn't just happen, and it was not always there. No, there was a beginning. So if you look at a fly, there was a beginning of the fly. If you look at a tree, there was a beginning. If you look at the sky and the stars, there was a beginning. If you look at yourself, there was a beginning. There is a beginning of everything. Interestingly, if there is a beginning, it is very likely that there is an end to something. But today we want to focus on the beginning. But the question then begs, if there was a beginning, how are we to know the beginning yet we were not in the beginning? That is where the person of Yeshua gives us perspective on what was really happening in the beginning, because the only one who can tell the story of how it was in the beginning had to be there before the beginning. Now, this is the point. God was there before the beginning. He created the beginning. The Bible tells us in the book of John, chapter 1, and it will give us perspective and focus. "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Interesting that in John chapter 1 verse 1, it begins exactly like how Genesis begins, in the beginning. So John begins with the beginning, and he says, "In the beginning." And he tells us what was happening in the beginning. In the beginning was God. He was there. He's the creator God. And we are told in the beginning was the Word. And it is interesting that in our Bibles, if you look at your Bible, the word word has a capital W. That is important for you to note. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God. So whoever this is that is referred to as the Word, he was not only with God, he was God. Listen to how it continues. It says, "He was with God in the beginning," taking us back to that phrase, in the beginning. "And all things came to be through him." Oh, so the Word is a person, because only a person is given this usage of the word him. So all things came to be, the trees, nature, everything that is in the sky, everything that is on land, everything that we see and everything that we do not see, both the invisible and the visible. Everything came to be through him. And then it continues and says, and without him, nothing has being, or nothing was made. We go on to verse 4. In him was life, and the life was the light of mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not suppressed it. So this entire conversation in John chapter 1 is informing us about the Word, the person of the Word who was there. The question then begs, who was the Word? We fast forward and we read verse 14. It says, the Word became a human being and lived with us. We saw his glory, the glory of the Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. Now we know who the Word is. Jesus is the Word. He was there in the beginning. So this idea that there is no beginning, there is a beginning. Who was there in the beginning who can give us a perspective or a focus or an understanding of what was happening in the beginning? Jesus. Jesus is the person that we go to when we want to seek understanding, to have our questions answered on what happened in the beginning. And so this is going to be the joy and the punch of these conversations, of the Bible stories with Antoninah. We want to see things from Jesus' perspective. Why? Because he was there in the beginning. I want to read one more verse, and it is going to help us to gain another yet understanding about why we are focusing on Jesus Christ. Now, the Bible tells us in Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. I want to read verse 16 and 17. It says, because in connection with him were created all things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones, lordships, rulers, or authorities. They have all been created through him and for him. The buck stops with Jesus. So I hope you can join in this journey. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting journey. It's going to be an exciting journey as we look at life through Jesus' perspective. We look at the Bible stories through his perspective, and he will help us join the dots. See you in our next episode.